going on, guys? I'm Bear Degidio, and we are back with another episode of the Jaxxon podcast. I'm sitting here with the greatest recap team in the history of all MMA fighting recap analysts of all time, of anybody analyzing any fight. I'm sitting here with the greatest co-host of all time, the man, the myth, the legend, Rampage Jaxxon.
Let's go.
Oh, we didn't got me bumped up today. All right. We're off to a good start.
It's good to see you smiling and in good spirits.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Especially with all the girls you've been having at your house lately. We're sitting here with Clark Kent, a.k.a. Luke Rockhold. A phenomenal athlete lately. He's been doing at least 4 to 5 miles every morning on the beach. I see him topless running up and down the sand. And the bionic man, Optimus Prime himself, TJ Dillashaw. Just blowing away the entire game of nutrition with his brand Wild Society, all-time highs. All-time highs. TJ, it's good to have you here. I see you came with a huge squadron now, so the money must be nice. You got traveling with 7 guys. You're like the new Jake Paul. It's unbelievable to me. I've never seen him he's rolling around with entourage. It's crazy. He walked in, I thought Chama was here. But you got 5 cameras. You got your own show going on now.
You put some passion into what you're building, man, and you stay after it, work your ass off, hustle. It'll grow.
Amen. And whatever you're doing to your body and physique, I just cannot stop looking at it because you are shredded right now.
Bro, he was
shredded. Check him again, bro.
Yeah, he was.
Right, Rampage? Yeah. You were looking at him.
Yeah. No, I was looking at you, looking at him. You was licking your chops. You was drooling in there.
I'm trying to hype up my dog.
But I was just calling it out.
You've seen his abs popping out like that. They go
man,
crazy.
He ripped. Hey, I follow him on TikTok. You follow him on TikTok?
Absolutely, I do. See him training all those kids after school activities. But I've been watching Luke train every day, and whatever you're doing to your physique is unbelievable. You have a fight or something coming up before we jump into this? What do we got going on, Clark Kent?
We might be working. You put in the work, good things happen. So
exactly.
Ooh.
You never work.
So does that translate to a boxing or MMA fight?
It translates to good things.
Luke's obviously making money right now. He's happy. He's in good spirits. So you can tell Luke's excited to be here. I've been honestly seeing you, before we jump into this, I've been seeing you do a lot of cardio every morning. I've been seeing you do a lot of boxing on Instagram, a lot of training in here at the Jaxxon Media House. You've been doing a lot of weights. It seems like you have your own little routine. One thing Rampage has said multiple times on our podcast is he envies the fact that you can come in here and get work on your own. And you can just sit in there with your AirPods and sweat and grind. And I mean that with all due respect. What is your camp looking like right now? Because you're training for something.
Yeah, no, I've been training. Like I said, you put the work in, and at this stage in my life, I've already done so much where it's like things come to be. If you put the energy out there, you get what you want back. So I've always just been motivated by myself. When I'm by myself, I get more motivated, and I just get into my own head. Sometimes I microdose. Sometimes I just go hard.
Wait, you know can train on mushrooms?
I mean, you get deep in your head. You know what I mean? And you focus on the goals, and you separate the outside influences of life, and you fucking run. You work.
Yeah, you seem.
Have you ever trained on mushrooms?
I have.
Is motivation more like what
Microdose is awesome, man. It's like nature's Adderall. It really kind of gets you focused, helps with your short-term, long-term memories, your reaction times. You can even do it on like somewhat of a super dose as well too, when you really get through the wall. And that's what like the real performance is supposed to happen. I've never done that. I've usually just done it for fun, but it can be great.
Those are long runs. The long runs in the hills, you might take a couple extra gummies on that one. And let them just keep floating away.
I might have to try. I never tried a mushroom.
Microdose, you don't even feel to where like it's not going to make you. It's just going to make you sharper. You know,
did it make me more motivated to train by myself?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of times you just get more in tune with your body. You can feel like when you're fatigued or you're like how far you can push yourself. It's like sometimes you just lose yourself in the run. You just like you start focusing on, other. Your opponent per se, like what he's doing, and you're just so in his head, you're pushing yourself further in your own head. It's a crazy world, but it's a tool that's useful.
Why is it that they say that a lot of fighters, after doing DMT or ayahuasca, they kind of lose the dog in them? We see that with a lot of boxers and fighters.
Look at Jake Paul. Jake Paul's been experimenting with that shit, and he's gone. People, you just grow soft. Some people grow soft within that world. You go too far down that chain, you get a little weird. But you dabble, you taste a little bit, but then you get back to work.
I don't think Wilder been the same since he did.
That's a good example.
I think it's all about finding your ego, to be honest. Like a lot of that like psychedelic stuff and the mushrooms and the DMT, it's like you're going to be put in front of your own ego and having to like learn to like lose control of a situation rather than controlling everything and like letting the trip just happen. And if you're doing it the right way, like saying you're just dabbling in it, it actually helps you, man. I remember I did I mean, I don't want to promote this, but I did a DMT trip 10 weeks before my first title fight against Barao. And I full on like saw the fight happening before I didn't know that it was Barao, but I saw the belt. I saw like all his visions. It was super real. The lights were bright. I wasn't even supposed to be fighting Barao when I did it. And then 2 weeks later, I got the call by the UFC just like, hey, when you just step up and fight for the belt. And I was like, dude, this shit already happened. I seen it happen. This is my destiny. And it's like, for me, it kind of took me to the next level.
This should make you psychic.
I mean,
Straight up. Future. You see the future.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it good for people who are dealing with issues and they can't figure out a way to kind of put that aside to get in the habit of training or in a routine because they're so stressed? Or do you feel like it's more of it's like alleviates the pressure of what's coming?
I think it's not an all the time thing. Like Luke's saying, it's something you should dabble in a little bit and test out the waters. But it has shown massive things for like people with depression, PTSD, things like that. It can kind of get you on the straight and narrow and get you off some of these antidepressants people are taking and whatnot.
I guess anything's better than pills.
Yeah.
So that's good. And it's natural.
Well, Big Pharma, they create the pills to keep you suppressed. They don't create to heal you. And it doesn't expand you. The psychedelics open and they broaden your perspective. You open up new neural pathways. And so you're able to conquer and overcome certain tics and things and all kinds of dark shit. There's been a lot of benefits. I mean, like one of the most inspiring people I've ever heard speak was Stanislav Grof. Stanislav Grof is 90 years old. Guy's still dropping acid. And he's the most present, like influential speaker you'll ever hear talk. Like you hear people at 90 years old, they're bitter, they're upset. This guy is doing everything he's doing with a purpose, and you never have heard someone like this speak and have this much understanding of life.
Hey, this shit made Rashad Evans likable now. Look at him. Totally different guy.
Who, Rashad Evans?
Yeah.
Why, he does a lot of mushrooms?
Yeah.
What about Cutman Tate?
I don't know what Cutman Tate doing. No, he funny. I love Cutman Tate.
I like Cutman
Hey,
Tate.
Rashad. I don't even care. Whatever. Rashad. When I was in Florida, Rashad had a toad, and I was like, "Fuck, let's do this thing." And I was like, first time ever. Rashad was my shaman. He came over to my house. It was me and Big Baby Miller, and he
Boxer?
Yeah, boxer gets Big Baby Miller, doses him, and motherfucker, 300-pound motherfucker on my living room floor just passes out. He's gone. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We both start laughing around. He rises up like Tyson Fury out of the dead, like, and we're like, what the? He gets up and he's just like, I've seen it all. He turns around, walks out my door. Me and Rashad are just looking at each other. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
What did you guys do with the
And then
toad?
all of a sudden he's fully clothed and just jumps into my pool. And then I ended up trying to do it afterwards, and there wasn't enough toad venom, but
He licked it all.
What do? You lick the toad?
No, he juices his toad back home and he adds some shit and then you smoke it.
Like an actual toad, like a frog.
He takes the venom of the toad and he milks his toad.
What do you mean he milks his toad?
He milked his toad.
How? Like his tongue? Like he squeezes it?
I'd call Rashad. Let's get him on and talk about
Yeah,
it.
they milking toads now?
I didn't know. What do you guys do in
Milking
Miami?
toads.
No wonder you came back to Newport Beach.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, before we jump into this, why were you and Gordon Ryan running from Secret Service?
We were, Tim Kennedy set it up. You know, what can you say?
Like, what? Was it a prank?
No, we wanted to go check out the underground tunnels underneath the White House.
He said it, no, he said it with a straight face. He's not joking.
I know. I saw an Instagram video of you and Gordon Ryan, the jiu-jitsu legend, running from Secret Service.
We were. This was all designed by Tim Kennedy. What can I say?
But what was it? Why were you at the White House?
We're out there supporting the Army, the 250th anniversary of the Army.
Oh, so it was an event.
Yeah, then we did an
got it.
obstacle course with them and showed some support, some love. It was cool.
Who was on your team for the obstacle course?
Me, Frankie Edgar, karate, Hottie, and Gordon.
And did you guys beat the Army?
We did not beat the Army.
The Army team beat you guys?
They gotta work. You gotta work together. Everything is simultaneous. You know what I mean? It's like we all work in individual sports, and so it's like you have to. There's a rhythm of 5 men working together, like picking up this like heavy ass worm in different weighted sections, and everyone's got to do it synchronized and push it out. It's like climbing ropes. It was different.
It sounds like me and a threesome. The girls got to work together.
Hey, they gotta manage the war.
Someone's got to hold the leg.
That's cool. So Tim Kennedy, I can't even imagine Rampage with it. So Tim Kennedy, I mean, we'll pull the girls that he's had at his house lately. So Tim Kennedy put on this event for the Army, and he invited you, Gordon Ryan, Frankie Edgar, and you guys just went out there to compete against Army, and then went to like a dinner or something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We did a lot, and
That's good.
I think they invited Sean Strickland, but he bitched out because he knew I was coming.
Oh my God! Hey, did you see the Sean Strickland video of him running into the cage at the Tough and?
God, he's such an idiot.
Man.
What do you think about that?
I don't give a fuck what the guy. I had a guy talk shit to me while he was kicking my son's ass in a fight, and you don't go in there and beat up the other guy. You just don't do that shit.
Yeah,
That's against code.
Yeah, you just make yourself look bad because people might not understand like everything that was going on. This guy just licking his tongue out and doing all this shit.
Yeah,
just,
I'm sure
just
they're
cuss him
talking.
out.
I'm sure they're talking shit to him too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a reason why he did that.
Exactly.
Because they were talking shit. So like, the
Who
man
else ran
wins.
into
Let him
him?
have his light.
Who else ran in with him? Who's that? Curtis Blades?
Look how he stunts in there like a bitch.
Look at that! Like, what is that walk? Like a drunk bum.
Strickland, what's wrong with you, bro? Don't listen. You wait till the guy get out the fucking cage, then you talk shit to him, then you beat his ass. Don't do it in the cage on the cameras in front of everybody. Like you just look like a dickhead. I'm just keeping it 100.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I didn't know which way you guys were gonna go with this. Some people would be like, "Oh, he was talking crap. That's cool that he went in there and handled business." But what you're saying,
you're a
is-
professional athlete.
Yeah.
It's like a liability. You can't
Right.
do
You're a
that.
former champion. You know what I'm saying? You just,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't let someone get under your skin that much, especially if it's not even your fight. Like,
Yeah.
Was that guy his brother or somebody?
I think they were training that guy, and that guy he got submitted from a
Yeah, they were
Neck
obviously
crank.
cornering the other guy.
yeah. But the guy just did a little Degeneration X. Have you ever ran in the cage after a fight, TJ?
no.
Have you ever cornered somebody
Yeah.
in the UFC?
Yeah.
Who'd you corner?
My time at Alpha Male, I cornered a lot of the guys in the UFC.
Oh, wow.
Faber, Benavidez, Buckles.
Oh, so you did a bunch of them.
Yeah.
The most famous corner brawl with McGregor and Habib, Luke ran in there with DC like Superman. Luke was going in there to save Habib.
You was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and DC jumped in, kind of calmed it down a bit.
Have you seen the
There
video
was-
of Luke
I saw-
walk?
Bro, there was like- that was
pushes
wild
the
to me.
security guard aside, and there's a famous video when Luke pushes the security guard. The guy's ready to turn and look at Luke. The guy sees Luke, and then he just goes like this, and that's Luke right in.
It was just 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes. Too much going on. I didn't know who was all there. Just too much
Yeah, it
going
was
on.
wild.
That's got to be like
There
one of
was
the
so many
craziest.
beers and just things flying from the audience. I've never seen an arena like that. It was
That's got to be one of the most craziest interactions between fighters and fans in a corner of all time in the UFC. Besides maybe the Mayhem Miller Strike Force with Jake Shields.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into this. So the first fight of the card, we had Felipe Lima versus Payne Talbot, bantamweight. Payne Talbot coming off his first loss. He was, 9-0 going into that last fight, and he obviously lost. That was his first loss. Then he had Felipe Lima. They put him against him. Payne Talbot. Does anybody have any input on this one? What do you guys think?
I thought Lima looked great, man. Like technically, he looked really, really good. I don't know why Talbot's so hyped up. I guess I haven't watched enough of his fights. I know he had some quick finishes and stuff. He got the win. I guess he was really impressive on the ground compared to what he was in the past. I don't know if he had a bad ground game or something, but the commentators are really impressed by what he did to change up what his ground game looked like, I guess. I thought like Lima looked like the more technical fighter, to be honest. But he just got overpowered a little bit and got maybe too much into the moment. I'm not really sure, but he looked great coming out. Like good footwork, good feints. Was swinging for the fence in the beginning, but looked crisp while doing it. Landed some good overhands over Talbot's jab because Talbot was like leaning in too hard on his jab and getting too much weight on his front foot. Was able to counter on it. To be honest, he should have kept the fight on his feet. And for whatever reason, he wanted to take it down. And every time he took him down, he ended up getting beat on the ground. So I guess I haven't watched either of these guys fight enough to know what their strategy or game plan should have been. But I thought Lima looked good, but unfortunately lost in these scrambles in these positions and gave up on the ground, to be honest.
What did you see, Luke?
it was all right. I think his last fight, the cute kid, they call him or whatever.
Talbot?
Talbot. I think that's why he's cute.
Is that why he's hyped up?
I think that's why he's hyped up, and he's got a spot on his back. He's got this tramp stamp. So I don't really know.
That's a birthmark or a tattoo?
It's a tramp stamp.
He's got one on his chest and on his back.
Anyway, but he showed weakness. I mean, that last guy I fought, I I think I'm gonna put the money against him, honestly, and he lost. But the other guy
He was a
wrestled.
huge
The
favorite.
other guy wrestled him. Yeah, he was a huge favorite. The other guy wrestled him. It was such a The other guy wrestled him down and beat him up in a wrestling match. So I think this guy Lima thought he could out wrestle him and expose him there, but he's obviously gotten better.
Talbot keeps his head way too high on his feet, but it sounds like he's got power in his punches, but keeps his head real high, comes in for striking. I think Lima should have kept his fight on his feet. He would have won the fight. He was way better on his feet. He was a crisper striker, better technique. But for whatever reason, the game plan was to take him down probably because of Talbot's last fight, but that backfired on him. Talbot looked good on the ground. He had good jits defense, had better positioning, looked stronger. Curious on his power because I wasn't super impressed. I actually was more impressed by Lima, but Lima lost the fight himself by taking him down.
That black hole rampage is from the anime Bleach. It's like a source of power thing in anime.
Oh, he's an anime fan.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's what it's from. I think he's talked about it too, but I know it's from an anime.
Oh.
What do we think about you talked about the hype, and obviously I'm talking as a fan and someone who just watches fighting. There's a lot of people who are undefeated in the UFC, and people are hyping up these undefeated records. Jake Paul talked about it on a podcast, and it went viral about undefeated should mean nothing anymore. What should mean the most is when people take big fights, because like everybody just values records too much, and boxing is obviously losing because of that. Do we feel like these undefeated, like he was undefeated going into the last fight, but does that mean he wasn't fighting anybody strong? Does that mean anything going into the next fight? Like, what does that mean?
From my understanding, he's still pretty new to the UFC. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of his fights. I know that he's had a couple of quick finishes, which obviously helps you get sprung up to the top. But yeah, it could be that he's fighting guys that aren't to his level, but you are fighting in the UFC. So, I mean, I feel like all these guys are pretty tough. I still think he's got a lot of ground to make up still to get to the top. That's for sure.
Rampage, did you care about your record when you were coming up in the game?
No, because I lost my first pro fight. I didn't care.
You just wanted fights.
I just wanted to fight. You know, I started fighting at a different time than most people. You know, I was a single parent, and I just wanted something to pay the bills.
I mean, that's back when you're taking fights on 2 weeks' notice and stuff. Though.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
can't really care about your record when you're fighting just like back to back like that, you know?
Yeah.
His first fight was in 2023, Dana White Contender Series. He won that, and you know before that it was Uriah Faber's A1.
I mean,
Gotcha.
in MMA, you can't really like sit there and protect your record. Like most of the time, you're going to get matched up, and you got to fight who they fight. They might protect you, but
If you're promoting yourself,
you say
for-
they-
if you're promotable, I mean, yeah, Sean
they?
and
UFC.
Mick, they might try to protect you to build you up a little bit, but they're going to test you at some point. This is not like boxing. It's
Right.
different.
Got it.
Right, boxing, a lot of guys, they go to Mexico and pad their record, right?
That's where my first fight is. They said it's guaranteed. I just have to pay extra.
Yeah, that's true, though. That's what people do.
That's what they said. They said, just give us extra. We'll make sure the guy you fight, you'll beat. I'm like, all right, I need that. I just want to go 2-0 real quick because I do 2 fights in one night, Grand Prix style.
You should.
Why don't you just buy your own opponent and do it here?
I mean, you have a full size cage now.
We just got this cage for Hamza Chimaev for the camp. He's competed for the title. I had to make sure he had a pay-per-view cage. I'm tired of these guys always yelling at me that we don't have cages too small, cages too big. Now you can't compete.
Well, this cage is too big.
No, it's not. That's a pay-per-view cage. That was from McGregor's camp.
Man, don't you know I've never trained in the actual same size cage?
Exactly.
I never trained in the same size cage.
I mean, I did it a little bit when I was out in Colorado because they had it at the Muscle Farm gym, but I didn't like it. I preferred to train on mats with walls, wall mats.
What about the Santo Studio Jiu-Jitsu studio
Awesome.
right here in
It's
Newport?
perfect.
Oh, it's good.
That's the perfect spot. That's where I'd rather train.
Ain't no fun to train in the cage. That shit hurts.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Let me go push you up on the cage real quick and see how you feel like it.
I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Hey, we should
or-
go behind the brand. You should let them see how it feel.
Or you could go in for the takedown, you
about we
miss,
don't?
and you get your face smashed.
Just cheese grate
Just
yourself.
cheese grade yourself.
I used to love
You know how-
cheese grade people though, but yeah, it sucks when you get cheese grade.
Just a little Toro.
Can we not chew so much into the mic? We're getting call back from the producer because it throws off the whole YouTube audio.
Well, how do you expect him to stay so jacked though? He's got to use protein.
Oh, definitely not from the food. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Oh my God, look at that spinning backhand from Lima.
Yeah, I thought Lima looked way better on his feet. He should have kept the fight on his feet. I think he could have won this fight if he would have done that rather than going for the takedowns and getting desperate to get him down. But that was their game plan going into the fight.
Now that kid was good at scrambles.
Yeah. Talbot?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did some good scrambles. He got himself on top, had good jiu-jitsu defense. If that was his weakness, it didn't look like it because he was better on the ground in this fight.
Did you guys see the post from Frank Ocean? Frank Ocean posted Payne Talbot.
No.
He posted a photo of the fight showing his support for Payne Talbot.
Who is Frank Ocean?
All right, we're gonna move on to the next fight. All right, the next fight.
I don't know, but that's just a little
Is he a singer?
Yeah.
I think I heard that name.
Yeah, he's good. I like his music. All right, next fight we got Money Moicano versus Beneil Dariush. Now, Money Moicano was talking about this fight, and there was a lot of stuff going on because we know that Beneil got kind of put out for a fight. UFC still paid him. They moved cards around. We've been seeing a lot of chaos happening these last couple of fights in the UFC with Beneil. Beneil is obviously local, trains at Kings over here in Anaheim. Friends with Giga, so we got to see a little bit of his camp going into this. Money Moicano is a big name right now in the UFC. Good at media, really doing well. Hey, Wayne, you want to pay for no commercials during a podcast so we don't have to watch the commercials because Rampage is losing it.
Is that DC in there?
Rampage is losing it. No, I was showing you. That's the new DC commercial for Jurassic World.
He's in the movie?
Yeah, he's in the movie and he's in
What dinosaur is he playing?
FaceTime DC right now, Luke. Luke, FaceTime DC right now.
That was rough.
That was good, Rampage.
That was good.
Hey, you're on fire today.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You've been sleeping lately or doing what you've been doing? Better eating routine or?
I quit drinking
Oh, wow.
just for a couple of days.
You needed it.
I've been
You've
going
been on a
hard
bender.
since my birthday, man. It's been bad.
Bro, he's been on a bender.
For your stream, yeah?
Yeah, for my stream, I like because my job is not a streamer, right? So I'm like, damn, what am I going to stream today? Okay, I'll go drinking with some bitches. I mean, some women.
You FaceTime in DC right now?
FaceTime DC, Luke. Let's see what he has to say.
DC,
Hey, busy man.
Well,
Bear said you look like a dinosaur.
Well, you don't have to say it like that. DC's pissed right now because his car got stolen at the airport.
Oh, that's
You
right.
do-
Did you guys
Oh,
see
really?
that? DC got his car
Yeah.
stolen while he was at a
got
fight.
he got it stolen. Like he bought it Thursday and got stolen Friday.
How crazy is that?
Some like.
Do you even have time to put insurance on it?
No, but you
have
get,
to.
you get
No,
gas,
you have to,
you
though.
get
Insane.
something.
Yeah, you have to put it.
The thing is floating around in the bay.
No, it probably stripped.
It's like on a
Oh,
ship
yeah.
container. I've seen it. This is just floating around.
Bro, this shit sucks when your car gets stolen.
Oh, it's the worst. My TRX got stolen on my birthday.
I know.
As I was like, yeah, one of our old sponsors like texted us. He's like, you guys got something in common. Both you guys got your TX stolen.
But you got yours back though, huh?
I got mine back. Yeah.
Luke walked in here furious.
Look at DC's. Look at his car.
His car's
That's
just
his
floating in
truck.
the water.
Hey, that's his
Oh,
truck.
so he got the
Yeah, the low jack type of thing. You see where it's at. Okay, so Dariush,
Look at that.
Money Moicano. What do we think about Dariush right now, Luke, going into this fight and where he's at in his career, especially against an opponent like Money Moicano?
I mean, Dariush is always game. He's like a zombie. Sometimes he gets hit and he turns into this like drunken like kung fu mode, and you don't know what's going to happen. But he's so good on the ground, and Moicano's got a breaking point. Let's just put it that way. He's not elite, and I'm not going to say Dariush will fight with some of the top guys, but he's not going to beat the tip top tier. But Moicano's got a breaking point, and Dariush was able to expose that.
Do we think
Especially
Money
on the ground.
Moicano can make a title run?
I don't think so.
I just basically explained to you that he made his title run and he lost his title fight, and this was his other opportunity to get through a gatekeeper like
Dariush, yeah.
Dariush. And Dariush is he's solid on the ground. He's got good ground game, and you cannot be just average on the ground.
What you think the mentality of a fighter is when they make a title run and they don't succeed, and then like what? So what am I just like?
Well,
like you said,
Moicano's title run was actually kind of gifted to him, that last minute replacement, and I do believe that. I mean, I like Moicano, I like his personality, I like who he is, but he's not going to get another title shot.
You don't think so?
No. He won't be able to beat the top guys to get a title shot, in my opinion, right? I could be completely wrong, but that's my honest opinion. I think he's got too many holes and he's got breaking points. He broke in this fight, was willing to stay on bottom and not use his guard to get out. He was like just holding on to wait to get back to his feet. Dariush looked good. He's got good power. His left kicks were powerful to the leg and to the body. I would have loved to see him use like a kick cross like you were showing Randy Brown when he was here. Like a little bit kick cross would have been nice because he's hitting those kicks so hard that Moicano's got to respect him. He's going to cover and then bring a cross right after it, or feint that kick and hit a cross off it. Would have been nice to see. Dariush has got some power. He's got good ground game. Broke him once he got him to the ground. Something Moicano could have done, which actually dropped Dariush at the end of this first round, was use a little bit more feints and use off rhythm timing. Like he did a quick little jab and then a pause before he threw a right hand and hit him right on the chin and dropped him. If he would have done a little bit more of that and kept his distance and landed that straight right, that could have been great for him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You see how Dariush, when he goes high a lot to the arms, then when he snaps the body kick, he's not like stepping into it, and like really putting hip and shin into it. Like that's what people need to understand. It's like you just slapping that kick is not going to get the liver. You got to step in and turn that thing through.
Yeah.
This is Darush's first win since losing his last fight to Arman Tsarukyan, and then before that he lost to Charles Oliveira. So he's definitely fighting big names, and he's definitely putting on fights for the UFC. Do we feel that Darush now can get some win underneath his sails now and make a title run?
This is a good win for him. Yeah, absolutely. It's a real good win for him. Showed great composure. Like Luke said, he gets hit and he turns into the zombie and just keeps coming. We've seen it in other fights as well too, where he was getting rocked and then came back and landed a big left hand and won the fight. He's got power in his hands and in his kicks. This fight, he showed great to out-grapple Moicano in the second round and broke him. The second round broke Moicano.
I like to call a spade, and I mean Dariush is tough, but I mean you look at the top guys, it's going to be hard to see him get through. I mean, like what I like to see is Dariush versus Charles Oliveira now.
Yeah,
that's a great fight.
That'd be a good
That's
fight.
a great fight to see
rematch?
where he's at, and if he can get through a guy like Charles. But I mean, for him to beat Arman, for him to beat Topuria, for him to beat Islam, for him to beat, I mean, like,
Did Charles beat Dariush?
Yeah.
How'd he beat him?
Charles KO. TKO.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
He was
And then, before that, though, before he lost to Charles, he had beat Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, Drew Dober, Thiago. He had some good wins. He was on like a 6-7 fight win streak, and then he lost to Charles, lost to Arman, and now he won this.
Gotcha.
But in terms of like
good.
technical skill, in the Jaxxon podcast Discord, TJ, a lot of people were asking, does Darush still have the speed? Does he still have the skill level, the cardio? And I know, Luke, you're very good at like during a fight understanding like what a fighter could do to be better. And I understand you have your own way of looking at it. TJ, let me hear what you got, and then Luke, I'm gonna pass it to you.
On if Dariush still got the speed?
Yeah.
I mean, his only two losses are the guys in the top five, right? Charles and Arman. I think he still got it. I mean, he's taking some good time off as well too, right? This is his first fight in 2 years, I think, which is good for you to like, especially when you're older, to revamp your health and get back to it. His cardio is great. He does really good with his diet and nutrition. I think he can make a run to get back to the top. He's going to have some tough fights to do it, but I think he could beat Charles. I'd love to see that rematch because Charles needs a fight now after losing the belt.
Luke, what do you think?
I think that's a great fight for him right now. It's hard to see him, like he's a little slow. His reaction time, he's a little older. How old is he actually?
Darush is 36, 35.
Okay.
He was born in
He
89.
just looks like
36.
He looks 40 because
It's
of his
just that
hair.
salt and
I
pepper
hate
hair.
salt and pepper. He just looks a little lethargic sometimes. Like I said, like the drunken kung fu style. Like he's like very like, especially when he gets hit and he gets tired. He's like a zombie mode. He's gonna come forward and
He's
not
never
crack.
been a fast twitch fighter.
Fast
though.
twitch. He's not. Yeah, he's
He's
not
never
the fast
been
twitch.
that.
And so a guy like Arman came in so hot and so quick up the middle, boom, a kick, punch. It was like you can't keep up. It's hard to see him. It's going to have a hard time keeping up with guys like that.
Rampage, anything that you think about a fighter when they get to the later years of their career, the fights they choose and who they kind of match up against, if that even matters, or is it just about collecting as much money as you can towards the end?
It depends on the type of fighters. I was kind of wondering that because it made me think when they mentioned that Moicano would never get the belt again. It made me think about when I was chasing the belt again. Like I had to fight John Jones, and then I went back. I was trying to get my belt back. Then I was thinking like, man, let's be real here. I don't know if I'll be champion again. And it kind of took my motivation away, and I felt not like I was a journeyman, but I felt kind of like
You can't be a journeyman after you're a champ, dog.
I know, but the same type of thing, the same type of mentality, like Father Time. You think about that, and you're thinking like, well, let me just go out here and put on exciting fights. Let me go out here and just make as much money as I can. Then I had to tell myself, oh, I did everything I wanted to do in this sport, and let me just go out here and just make money. And I don't know if other fighters think like that once they lose the belt, or they figure out they can't get the belt.
I feel like it's how you react to that feeling, right? So if you have that feeling in your head, it's like now that you're 36 years old, you have to take shit even more serious, right? Your diet's got to be in check. Your training's got to be in check. You got to recover smarter. You got to train smarter with the right opponents. right training partners. You just got to like flip that switch to where you got to be even more serious than you were before to get to the top, because it's not going to be easy. It's only going to get harder and harder and harder as you go. And what's that mindset you got, right? What's that mental toughness you have?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's the type of mindset that I wish that I would have had. My mindset was like, fuck it, let's just make money.
Get made. Speaking of that, sorry about that, but $40,000 just hit my account. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I need some problems.
All right, so I think we have a fight. So that's Luke's uncocky way of saying he has a fight secured, and that's the little deposit coming in. That's a little payday coming in. Luke's very excited. Luke, we'll talk about at the end of this podcast who you're fighting and who it is. Thank you for the intro on your allowance you got from your sugar daddy for the week. Next, we have, after a unanimous decision, Beneil Dariush coming in, like we said, big win. Now we have probably one of the most exciting fights of the year. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. We know who Joshua Van's going to be fighting next. TJ, I'm going to kick this one off with you.
Great fight. You can tell the difference in game plans here. Royval wanted to pepper him and try to wear him out and use his range and just punches with bunches. But unfortunately, as he got in tight with these punches, he wasn't putting enough power to keep Van scared to have to back up. Van was able to stand his ground and counter very well. And Van's striking, his boxing specifically, looked really good. Good eye vision, slipping the left hand and coming back with his own right. Royval had a little bit of a problem of leaning in with his jab as well, leaning too much on that front foot, which is getting him caught over the top. And then also lunging in with that left hand, getting him caught with that overhand right because Van kept slipping and come back with his own right hand. Great fucking fight though. Royval's got insane cardio.
Chin.
What's that?
What a chin on him too.
Yeah, good chin. He's always had a good chin on him as well too. He's just a fighter. I would have loved to see him sit on his punches a little bit more though. And when the game plan wasn't working, you got to change it up rather than just keep doing the same thing over and over again. If you would have added some power in that right hook, his cornerman tried telling him that. Add some, instead of slapping that right hook, like really sitting on after that left hand, could have made Van respect his power a little bit more and not sit there and wait for him to counter. This is a style fight, countering versus volume.
Yeah, throwing knees up the middle. He threw a couple knees up the middle that looked really very dangerous. He's got a dynamic style, and I think he just got a little too caught up in the boxing as well.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about significant strikes, CJ. That's what I want to just jump in real quick before you move on. Yeah. They talk about the most significant strikes in a fight landed. Does that have anything to do with recklessness or just going for it all? Or is it the skill or both of them matching in skill? Because there's a debate on our Jaxxon podcast Discord that it means it's more of like a bar fight. Not that they don't have skill, or how do you get a fight with that many significant strikes is what I'm trying to get at.
Both you guys are willing to throw down, right? You're not going to be super technical. So there's a little bit of that, but both very exciting fighters and willing to go to knockout, willing to like throw it all in there and leave it on the line rather than being point for point. The problem is, though, like Royval's significant strikes didn't mean as much, right? They weren't as powerful. They were too much of a slap, too much of just volume rather than sitting on his punches. So the significant, even though I think Van landed a little bit less significant strikes, his were a lot harder.
Yeah, and they're 125 pounds. I mean, like you're just not going to get as much power thrown around, not as many knockouts because you get outputs like that at 185, 205. People are going to sleep. But so I mean, you see a lot more volume, obviously, at the lower weights.
Did anybody else thought that was a Thai guy that Mighty Mouse fought over in Japan?
No, it looked like Kid Yamamoto.
No.
No, that dude. Wait, what?
The one with the black shorts. He looked like that guy that Mighty Mouse fought, and he did that that fight that was half Thai.
You don't think he looks like Kid Yamamoto? His whole build, like he's got the full Kid Yamamoto style.
What's the guy in the black shorts? Van?
Yeah, Van. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Kid Yamamoto is a legend, but I forgot what he looked like. I'm for real. It's been years. He passed away years ago, right?
Yeah,
he did.
He's a legend.
Yeah, all right.
He was.
But during the fight, Luke kept saying that.
You kept saying he reminded you of Yamamoto?
I was just he
look how Van
looks like a reincarnation.
Van keeps slipping his left hand very well and come back with his own cross, right? Which I would have loved to see Royval do is throw a kick behind it. If it would have been a left cross, left kick, same time, he would have caught him on that slip and it would have changed up the fight a lot too.
Like same side kick, same
side kick, right? If you get a guy that's doing really well structure with your boxing and he's slipping your jab, throw that same side left kick. Well, for me, I'm orthodox. And if you're southpaw and he's throwing that left cross and he's slipping it, that kick comes right behind it to where the timing's kind of like,
yeah, here,
boom, boom,
show
right?
the
Like,
audience.
I've shown this many times on the podcast already because I see openings all the time as part of the Dwayne Ludwig system. But he's lunging in on his left hand.
Now.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so you don't have
awesome.
to do that.
Perfect. So now look, stepping up his game.
Yeah.
Right. So he's lunging in. My left cross looks garbage, but he keeps lunging in with his cross. There's not much power on it because he's leaning too much on his front foot here. But he's throwing it and Bear's slipping and coming back with his own right if he's Van, right? So if I'm doing this, now I'm coming back because I'm lunging. I'm too much weight on my front foot. I can't bring his back to my face fast enough. I'm getting hit with his right hand. But if I do that exact same thing and I lunge and I come here and he slips it, so this time you're going to slip it. Keep your right hand up when you slip. Yeah. So he's slipping here, boom, kicks him right across the face at the same time. That right hand can't come because I'm going to throw the kick right behind it. If it does come, then his hand's not going to be on his face, and then that's when the kick lands.
Yeah, TJ, I think I speak for the whole Jaxxon Discord. Can we see that again, please?
Wait, but TJ, why is it that you always talk about this, but people don't take it like? Why is it that people don't utilize this technique when it's like obviously not a secret? And you've talked about it to a lot of fighters. You've showed it to a lot of fighters.
I don't know, man. It just takes training it, right? And using it in the gym and making sure that it works and having comfortability in it. And throwing kicks makes you tired. Like this was mainly a boxing fight for the most part, right? There's some low kicks and some knees and stuff and whatnot, but they're all just throwing hands to where like throwing kicks does make you a little bit more tired.
Was it leg kicks or just any kicks in like?
I would love to see body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks, switching it up, feinting your kicks, like shit that takes a lot more energy. And Roval's got the cardio to do it. And also you could have struck from a lot further away. Look how much taller he is, right? Instead of crowding his left hand, if you'd have thrown it from further away and brought a kick behind it, he could have been hitting him where Van couldn't hit him back at all.
Van had so much volume inside the clinch, like he was just ripping the body. Like I wonder how effective those really were, because it just every time that they would get in tight and get in a clinch, he would be throwing like combos to the body and come upstairs off of it.
Yeah.
Do you think the judges give more love to the fighter that could stay in the center and kind of pressure the fighter around the cage versus a guy who's coming around the cage? Like, how do they judge that?
I mean, it depends on how effective. I mean, it's ring control. But I mean, if you're pimping a guy around the ring, it's different.
Yeah,
I think you can pimp a guy or you can get pressed.
But like in this situation, how do you judge who's in more control? Because they're both banging.
I think
just damage.
I mean, damage is number one on all scorecards. Damage should be number one, right? And then it goes into the other aspects of like, this also wasn't an MMA fight. Like I didn't see one takedown attempt. Like it would have been nice to see someone even try to shoot a takedown, because now you have to be worried about my takedown. Now I can come back to strikes, which are going to set my strikes up even better, right? So even if you don't plan on taking someone down, go for it, because now they're worried about getting taken down. Now you can piece them up with your hands, right? Make it a little bit more MMA. If you want to be the best in the world, you want to be a champion, even if it's not your strong suit, you got to use all aspects of MMA.
Yeah, I think Van was pretty happy to stay on the feet, but I thought Roval would go for some kind of takedown for sure, right?
As a fighter during the fight, is that something you would hope that maybe your coach or your corner is yelling to try to remind you, or is that something that you got to find on your own?
You would hope so, but you don't know what everyone's game plans are going in there. But again, the best fighters in the world switch up their game plans in between rounds, and while they're fighting in the fight, they'll change it up. The best fighters in the world can always change up who they are. I said it on behind the scenes and setting up traps.
Adjustments.
Like I want to go for, even if I'm not going to get the takedown, I want to go for it because now I can set up a trap. Next time I feint, look low, boom, I'm coming back upstairs, right? Like really get your opponent guessing so much on what you're doing that he can't just Van knows he's going to counter. Van knows he's going to stand his ground and counter. But if Roval would have shot a shot, now he's got to sprawl and get his feet back rather than worrying about just countering, you know?
But wasn't this fight of the night?
Yeah, it's a great fight.
Did you notice that a lot of the fight of the nights don't go to the ground?
Yeah, of course.
Do you
want fight of the nights to get a $50K bonus, or do you want to become a world champion and get millions of dollars?
I'm agreeing with you. I just thought maybe you didn't know it, because he's right.
Yeah.
Why not switch it up and have a guy worried about your takedown? You know?
A lot of the fight of the nights aren't the smartest fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner. I mean, it's like,
to be
the essence of what people love. People love brawls. People love.
I was gonna say, fight of the night literally means everybody's getting damaged, everybody's getting hurt, everybody's going to war. It doesn't mean that you just destroyed a guy.
And I remember the guy is Raw Thing. That's what he looked like. Raw Thing. That's what that guy looked like. That's what
I don't even know Raw Thing.
You don't know Raw Thing?
Not really.
No.
A little bit, but not really.
Who's Raw Thing?
The guy that DJ, that Mighty Mouse fought
He
in the half
was
Muay
a
Thai.
man
half.
over there. He's like one of the best Muay Thai fighters on the planet right now.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
Rotang.
Oh,
Rotang?
Yeah, Rotang.
Yeah, I was like,
Raw
raw thing.
Oh, damn, my bad.
We should come back with raw thing. That's
Okay, so TJ, break this down for me. We're going into a fight where first or second round, it could be going both ways. It's the third round. The winner's fighting for the belt. How do you go into that third round?
For broke, I mean, what they did do, right? I just would have loved to see some more MMA rather than just boxing. Royval's head's a little bit too high when he comes in. He's, he's a taller guy, so you want to stay long, but he's coming in so hard and keeping his head high. He's coming into Van's distance with his head so high, so Van can come over the top. Just like that left hook right there.
yeah, man. He's so tough.
Yeah.
But you don't become champ being tough.
Yeah.
Usually, you gotta be smart. Gotta adjust.
But this fight was sick. I loved it. It was a sick fight. Me saying that I wanted to see some takedowns and stuff is more so because when I'm going for these takedowns, it's not just to make. I don't ever have a boring fight. Not to make it a boring fight, to make it so that I can land my uppercut or fake a shot, come back with a left hook, fake a shot, head kick, like to put someone's lights out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the unique situations is this fight was a stacked card because the fight right after this was for the actual flyweight title fight.
Yeah.
So kind of the pressure going into this is that you have to win this if you want to fight for the belt.
Yeah.
But it is unique that, I mean, now that I watch it, you're right. I don't see any takedown. It's interesting too because I would have never even thought about that watching it because I just was so excited about the fight.
Well, you're not a world champion.
Amen.
You know what I
Thanks,
mean? Like
TJ.
I'm just saying, you're a fan that you
that's what
want
I'm
to see
saying.
this.
No, I know.
But you want to see
now
someone we all want to see a car crash. You want to see someone get knocked out, right? If you're going to set up the knockout, you got to set up traps. Like if Van knows what's coming at him, he's not going to get knocked out. He can clinch, he can get ready. But if there's a punch or a kick that's coming, he does not see, that's when his lights go out.
Oh, you got clipped there.
Head too high, coming in too hard. But he's trying to get the win, right? He's not
Kept-
changing up who he
kept
is.
Fighting for it. Round 3.
Yeah, so the very
That
end.
was the last. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
When you keep saying your head too high, trying to come in, is that because he's trying to put too much power? He's not thinking to tuck his chin. What is that?
A lot of people do.
Yeah, show
I
Sleep.
do that sometimes too. It's just when you step in, it's like TJ or
Yeah.
Yeah.
you step in. You're trying to commit to power.
Yeah.
You're trying to get that shot, but you fly up,
And what is the proper way of doing it?
stay down, rotate.
Oh, got it.
Stay your distance. I mean, step in. It's like a lot of people like a big problem for me too. Sometimes I don't step in. You know what I mean? You have to the back foot needs to step with you.
To where you don't want too much weight on your front foot, you're going to pop your head up.
Yeah. If you lean in here, you're up high. But if you make that commitment with the back foot,
And you need to get your head off the tracks too. You can't just be in the same spot to where like Van can almost close his eyes. He knows your head's going to be like you're rushing me. I know his head's going to be right there. Rather than if I hit a cross, like if he's coming here, he's coming like this. My head's right here, right? Rather than me getting my head off the line, and now I can return back with a powerful hook rather than slapping it. But if I keep it here, I'm just slapping a hook. Get my head off the tracks. Now I'm like, boom, bringing the hook back. You watch Topuria is going to be a great one
I
to
get what you're
watch
saying.
because of that. You know,
And
he's so balanced. You look at Topuria, like everything he throws is so balanced and in the slot.
Well, TJ,
He's
you
never
talk a
over
lot
the
of
top.
Who's this boxing trainer?
Man, he's fucking good.
Yeah,
he's the best
good.
boxer
We're-
I've seen.
we're gonna
I
get
mean,
there.
I've been claiming this kid for a while.
I mean, everybody has Luke. But TJ, one thing I want to know is you talk about this like wind up, staying balanced, obviously staying over your punches. When Cain Velasquez was here, it was one of the like first, 20 podcasts we ever did. And he gave me a little instructional over here on the bag. And one thing he said that he teaches a lot of people, Luke, maybe you can talk about this, is to sit as low as they can when they're first learning how to punch, slap the heavy bag to just get their body mechanics. Because he's such a big believer of sitting down. He talked about like when he was fighting Brock Lesnar, just sitting down on his punches with such a bigger guy would make much more impact than like volume punching this guy or trying to just play with him a little bit. Is that difference between a heavyweight or a bigger guy like Luke sitting down on his punches and a lighter guy? Is it different technique? Is it the same thing? Because I see the way you move and the way he moves. Obviously, both are correct, but it's kind of different. The mechanics are different.
Definitely different. I mean, it depends on who you're fighting too. If I'm fighting a guy that's tall like Roy Vol and I'm Van, like I can't hunker down too much because then I'm gonna be caught with that knee up the middle, right? So now I'm getting instead of my head coming down and hunkering down, I get my head outside of his shoulders. Maybe I'm hitting a sprint cross, or he does a good job rolling afterwards, but not always being right in the middle. His head's not in the same spot, right? Even though he's hunkering down his punches, because I can't just hunker and keep my head. Okay, same way Roy Vol's keeping his head too high. I can't keep my head too low and be right in the middle as well too. For me, it's the head off the tracks, high or low. My head is outside their shoulders, right?
Yeah.
And keeping your hands up.
Bill, you know what's crazy? Yeah. I'm sitting here listening to both these guys and them demonstrating, and I'm like, I'm amazed that even though they're fighters, at how much they know about what the fuck they're doing, because my whole career, I never knew. I just did what my coaches told me. I'm like.
But we watched on your birthday, we watched all your highlights, and you kept telling us different things you were doing to different fighters that you knew, because you were like, you never want to be pushed back. You would sit there and you.
No, I know that stuff. Like I don't like to take a step backwards, so I try not to take a step back. But I don't think about
the mechanics like this when you fight.
No,
he's a reaction fighter.
Yeah, I react to.
He's a natural athlete. And he's a reactive fighter, and he's really strong.
But like during a fight, Rampage, when you were fighting in Pride or you were fighting for the belt, you wouldn't sit there and think about the way you needed to keep your head. I mean, you're known for the cup. What do you mean?
No,
nothing.
No, I remember having my head movement and stuff.
But that's because your coaches were throwing out you, making you do that.
Yeah, but
right?
no one taught me to do it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the cover and roll is essentially
the cover and roll.
your hands
Colin
up.
Oyama taught me the cover and roll, and I love that. I love that so much because I prioritize defense. That's what I do. I prioritize defense because I always felt like, cause if you guys know, it was like on the job training for me. I came into MMA just knowing wrestling, then I started taking jiu-jitsu, then I got thrown into a fight. I got thrown into a fight 3 days after my first time training MMA. And I just been on the job training ever since, right? So I was like, let me get my defense first. So first thing I did was learn how to defend submissions. Then I was learning how to block punches and leg kicks.
Where was your first fight?
Memphis. I fought Mike.
How old are you?
Like 20, 21.
21.
I fought, what was his name? Mike Kyle.
You fought Mike Kyle?
Hold on, it's Mike Powell and Mike Kyle.
Mike Pyle and
Mike
Kyle.
Powell.
There's
Mike
two.
Powell.
There's two.
The white one, Mike Powell.
The white one, okay, yeah. Mike Kyle was crazy.
Yeah, Mike Powell. I always get them mixed up. Forgive me, Mike Powell.
All right, now we're going to move into the next fight. The flyweight title, Alexander Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. Now, 35 years old, Pantoja's on a legendary run, right? I mean, this is a big fight. Did we think he was going to win?
Yeah.
Yeah. Break it down.
I knew he was going to win. He's just too big, dude. Kai Kara-France looks little, and Pantoja's massive for the weight. Kai Kara-France doesn't have the ground game to keep up with Pantoja. Pantoja's got good striking, but we just know his strengths are going to be on the ground. And he came out and proved that he wasn't scared of him at all, just way too big for him, and went after him hard in the first round, get him to slip up and grab a hold of him, get him to the ground, took his back. He's very good on the back. I knew that Pantoja was this was how the fight was going to go. The next two fights, the co-main and main event, yeah, you just know it.
What do we see from Pantoja that allows him to just be this dominant, though?
He's got a good all-around game.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Confidence too. He's just relaxed. He's relaxed. He's confident. He's able to just compose himself and see how to execute and win. I mean, you got like a guy like his opponent. I mean, he comes in with a little bit of false sense of confidence. He comes in and doing his native pullbacks, and he's just trying to psych the guy out. It just didn't seem as real as as a real confident champion who walks in there, and you can just see it in the man's eyes.
When you talk about all-around game, though, like for the fans at home, what is Pantoja's all-around game that allows him to be so deadly, though?
Pantoja's obviously got an amazing ground game. He can wrestle, he can strike, he can manage distance, and he can move through a fight and seamlessly in and out of each realm. A lot of guys get stuck in the realm and they don't transition into other realms. He's fluid from striking to wrestling to jiu-jitsu, and he doesn't get tired.
He doesn't have perfect example is Kai Kara-France has a hole in his game and it's on the ground. He's not as skilled as Pantoja on the ground. He's turning the wrong way when the guy's got the body triangle, and he needs to put his back flat, and he's rolling to his knees rather than getting his back flat, and just not being comfortable in every position,
I love when Pantoja throws that like uppercut jab type of come in punch, and then he just pushes Kai Kara France out of the way. Do you feel that Pantoja has some of the best hands in the division? If not the best hands?
No, Van has the best hands. We just saw the best hands, and that's Van. That's his next opponent's.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So
I mean, Morano's got better hands too.
Morano's got good hands, but I think Van's he's probably the best.
You think he got to run? He got a chance to be a champion?
How's Van's ground game?
I mean, we don't know how Van's ground game. That's what we didn't get to see, and which we all obviously want to. He's got his stature. He looks built. He looks like a hard guy to take down. Mm-hmm. But you never know until a guy like Pantoja puts it on him. So he's got the composure. He believes in himself. There ain't no doubt about that, and it's a big part of the battle.
Kai Kara France, this fight would have been maybe in the 4th and 5th round a little bit different if he would have made this fight go longer, because Pantoja was getting slower, was getting tired. Like, I guarantee you Pantoja cuts a lot of weight, and that's going to catch up to your cardio as well.
Yeah, it does look like
because he like coming out in that second round after having the whole first round was like way slower by the end of the second round. Came out with a spurt in the beginning of the third and got the finish, but I think it was third round finish, right? But if he could have made this fight go longer, Kai Kara France was not getting tired. He was faster. Could have used a little bit more of his feints to his advantage and keeping the fight a little bit longer and getting him to get to deeper waters.
Yeah, you can see it, just how he's drained his body. You can see like how sucked up he is still.
Mm-hmm. He's big, man. He's
pulled,
really
pulled
big.
a lot of weight off.
What do we feel is going to be the way or how Van can beat Pantoja? Besides, obviously it can be anybody's fight. I understand that, but is there something that we think that Van can do? Keep
it on the feet, not box him, knock him out, man. Van, he proved he's got some of the most power I've seen at 125 pounds. He can put people to sleep. If he can knock Royval down, Royval's taking everybody's shots, and he still got put down. In the last round too.
Let me ask TJ, that guillotine, that rear naked, and he was trying to fight it. And he was just kept pulling that same arm off. Is it too late once you get it in that deep? Do you think it's too late?
No, the top arm off is exactly how you get out of it, but he kept sneaking his choke arm a little bit deeper every time. He'd get it here and he couldn't get it behind the head. He would get pulled off, but he's still squeezing with this one. He's getting back on, and Kai Kara France got like a second, maybe half a second to breathe, and then he's right back on it. He's right back on it. It's like it's not enough time to really catch his breath. And that one arm he was choking with because his head's on the other side, right? So if you can't get your hand all the way behind his head to choke here, he's using his head over here to also keep his hand in place, so this one stays tight, and he keeps getting it deeper, and then eventually just squeezes it out.
So
it was also against. You see how he was going here to here? He went back and forth like 5 times. Mm-hmm. He kept getting peeled, and he would tuck it here, and he'd come back to here, and then it was too tight.
See, look at him. Why he don't?
So look, his choke arm's not deep yet, but it's gonna get deeper and deeper, right?
Right.
He's pulling it off, and he's deeper and deeper, and eventually it's just too much.
I know, but why he don't fight the other one that's around his neck though?
Because that top one is the most important at first, but then once you get that top one off, he's got to turn his chin right towards the wrist. Mm-hmm. So if you get that top hand off, you got to as you're pulling it down, turn this way, so you're getting choked less, and get your chin.
And
in the way.
Then you got to grab this.
Then once you get your chin down in the way, then you can start grabbing and fighting the other hand.
You want to give up mount. You want to get your back to the mat. And give up mount.
That's I just rear naked myself at that point. So they can't do that.
I mean, the guys will. You do this.
Yeah.
Like when we were training for Juan Archuleta to fight Patchy Mix. Yeah. When you get his back taken, boom, you're here. Yeah. Because you can't rear naked choke me when I'm like this, right? And then you get your back flat, so you can't choke me no more.
That's the only one I've been having problems with. That's the only way I got submitted 2 times.
Rear naked choke.
Yeah, by John Jones and Sakuraba. On 2 submissions I had.
Yeah.
There was no way you could get out of the John Jones one. Do you ever think?
No, because I never rode with somebody with arms that damn long.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't think to bring in someone into your camp that had long arms?
I didn't think my jiu-jitsu game was pretty good by this time, but it was hard to find somebody. It was really hard to find somebody.
How would you find sparring partners back then?
My people was doing it for me.
How did you do it, TJ?
I'd bring them in.
You would go request the guys you want?
Yeah, and they kind of naturally fall into place. I mean, when I was at Alpha Male, I didn't have to bring in guys because we had so many. We had so many different looks at Alpha Male, right? But then when I went to Colorado and I'm fighting Cruz, I brought in Sanhagen. Luckily, he was training in the same area, but you bring him in, you see how good they are, see he's skilled, and he kind of does the same kind of stuff. You try to find them yourselves somewhat.
Did it suck to have to train with Corey Sanhagen and then fight him?
No, I loved it.
Why?
I feel like I get better the more I train with someone. Yeah. I feel I'm a cerebral fighter, right? Like the same way I'm breaking down fights right now, the more I train with you, the more I figure you out. The more I watch you fight, the more I figure you out. The more I see your holes and your weaknesses. And I pride myself on not having very many weaknesses. I'm sure I have tons of them, but the least amount you can have, the better. And so the more I'm going to train with someone, the more I can find their weaknesses.
Luke, what about you? How did you find the sparring partners?
We had AK. We had so many people coming through, so I always had plenty of really tough guys I'd spar. Just use so many other people we had. And I love fighting guys that, sparring, working with the guys that I fight.
Was there ever
Like Machida? I trained with Machida and I owned him on the ground when I was young. I was like blue belt. And so by the time we got to the fight, I was like, he knew exactly like if I was going to get a hold of him, it was going to be over. And I could just feel him melting as like the fight got closer. Like every day that we had to square up, I felt him breaking. I remember I was in the bus. And we're pulling up the Prudential Center. And I'm in the first bus, he's in the second bus, and he gets off the bus and he's walking to the arena with the cameras on him. And I'm looking out the bus and he just looks like he's fucking the shell of himself. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking take your soul. Like he just knew right there. I looked at him and the way he was carrying himself, I'm like, this fucking fight, it's mine.
I like training with guys too that I know that I'm gonna fight or go against them and compete against them because they just know. I want them to know that I have that dog in me. Like I'm gonna go as hard as I possibly can all the fucking time, and this is gonna be a tough fight. No one wants to go in a fight like, fuck, this one's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? Like that's just my style in practice. Yeah. Everything, I'm gonna go hard.
Like as you get close in fight week, it's like you can see people breaking sometimes, but then you can see guys are just like they're gonna be there. And they're gonna give you everything you got. Yeah, whether they know they're gonna win or not, like they're gonna fucking be there. Yeah. But then there's certain guys you're like, I can see a breaking point. Yeah. It's fucking.
How was it seeing Machida last week in here?
It was good. Machida's a great guy.
Yeah. Was that the first time seeing him in a long time?
No, I've seen him around.
Yeah,
I've seen him around for sure. Yeah.
Is there ever animosity when you see a guy you fought, unless like you really didn't like the guy? Is it always good intentions after?
It depends on the guy, right?
Yeah.
Like if I seen King Mo right now, it'd be like,
You don't like King Mo?
No, I don't like him.
Still,
he a bitch.
What about John Jones?
I don't got no problem with John Jones. John Jones probably got a problem with me because y'all know how I am. I be saying crazy shit just to make people laugh, and some people just not. They don't have the same sense of humor as I do, so they don't understand it, But I don't got no problem with John Jones. I did years ago when I used to drive a Lambo and I used to hurt me to get in and out of my car, my left knee, because he kicked that knee backwards.
Every time you do, you're like, fucking John Jones.
Every time you got out of your Lambo,
every time.
So upset.
You train with DDP, you said, right?
Yeah, I trained with DDP a lot.
Yeah.
He used to come. When I was in Florida, he'd come out there, work with the Henry Hooftone boys.
That's Rampage is one of Rampage's favorite fighters.
And so, like, my point is, like, DDP trained with.
You visited UFC.
No.
He's tough, man. He's just tough, and he's good everywhere. And there hasn't been a guy that can open up another avenue.
Ask him why he kisses his corner man.
I don't know about that.
No, I'm not asking him that.
Well, I want to ask him. Bring him on the podcast. I'm like, hey man, why you kissing your corner man?
We should bring him on the podcast while you got Hamza out of here in the gym. It'd be perfect.
How about
right?
not? Yeah. How about I don't get killed by half the room?
Hey, let's have him train him while we interview DDP.
Hamza's different.
But,
TJ, what do you think?
But like, if you were gonna fight DDP, like he's now got to have that in the back of his head that he's like, oh damn, I went against Luke. Luke's a fucking athlete. And like now it's in the back of his head. Like the same way, like I train with Sandhagen. Like I know he knew that I was gonna go no matter what. Like I blew my left knee out, every ligament in my left knee at the end of the first round, and I still fought and got the win. Like I know he knew that I was gonna do that. Like I was gonna push no matter what.
There was a recent video that he was on, or an interview. Did you see it, about him talking about the fight?
No.
I'll have to pull it up. I think it was with Joe Rogan, actually, where he talks about basically how the way they judge fights, because Joe Rogan was talking about something to the extent of like they should judge if you almost submit someone just as much as you judge damage. Mm-hmm. And then Corey Sandhagen said something like, yeah, it was a good fight with TJ, but like I walked out of the cage, I was doing just fine. And TJ, had to rehab his knee.
Well, yeah, I also blew my own knee out too. I made a dumbass mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that 50-50 and I wanted to stay on top. There's 10 seconds left. I'm trying to stay on top. He's trying to, it wasn't a submission he went for. It's that he kicked his feet out to try to scramble to his feet. And I tried to stay on top and I like blew my own knee out by doing that.
Mm. Barry, have you ever blown your own knee out? Because the only thing you be getting blown out is your back.
How do you recover from that? How do you recover from blowing out your back?
That is just
You do it again.
wow. We almost went.
His face, he was so hurt. I haven't jumped on him.
We almost went 2 hours without one teasing. All right, so the doors are open. All right, so we back. We back. All right, cool.
But come on, let's move on.
This is the big one. Ilya Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Now, I'm biased, of course, because I feel like this wasn't the guy Ilya should be fighting. He should have been fighting Arman. We all know that. I understand the politics. So I'm going to stay out of that. We all understand the do's and don'ts of the UFC. But one thing is, if you hurt your back and you can't fight, it is what it is, okay? Now, Arman hurt his back. He couldn't fight. But Charles Oliveira, by the way, is one of my favorite fighters of all time. He was on the podcast, and I'm just, without a doubt, this guy's one of the best ever. But he's not the top of the division, right? The top of the division is Arman. Right? The top of the division is Arman. And then at the same time, you have Ilya moving up, right? You have a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot to digest here. But before we go into all that, that's why we have TJ, Luke, and Rampage here. I just want to say this fight should have been Arman. Now,
oh yeah, it should have been Arman.
It should have been Arman.
It should have been Arman versus
Ilya.
No, it should have been Arman versus Ilya.
Oh, that's what it should have been.
Yeah, it should have been Arman versus Ilya.
Arman versus Ilya, but you know the UFC is. I mean,
Arman's the number one contender.
You gotta. You know, he made weight. He redeemed himself, and now he's back in the game.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It's like he needed to do what he did. You can't missing weight and doing things. It's like
he was hurt. He didn't miss weight.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like the UFC is very sensitive about that kind of stuff, and like
I get it.
And it's like you run a big promotion to get into a situation like that. You got there's a little bit of repercussions.
Yeah,
but he earned his respect back, and he's ready to go.
Okay, let's start.
This was a hand-selected fight for Ilya, man. I mean, like this is a perfect matchup for him. Charles gets clipped. He gets clipped in every fight. He's willing to close distance, even though he's a taller guy. Like, why is he not staying longer? I know he catches him here and there, but like, Topuria wants you to engage with him. He wants you to come in that danger zone because his boxing is that much better. Even if he gets hit, he's going to hit you a lot harder, and he's going to put your lights out. And we saw that, obviously. I wish Oliveira would have kept his distance better and then get to here. This is a great idea. Push him against the cage, use your weight, get bigger than he is. He's obviously a bigger guy. But he's doing too much of the middle ground. Should be all the way out or all the way in. Nothing in between.
Topuria wrestling is really good as well, huh?
He's got great grappling.
Great grappling, great wrestling.
Yeah,
look at those hips. Look at his hips.
Yeah. Look at him hips.
Damn, dog. Hey, that's that little flip right there. Yeah. That shit ain't easy.
They say he was a Greco-Roman wrestler.
That was nice hips.
Were you surprised, Rampage, seeing Ilya kind of stuff Charles on the takedown, kind of control him a little bit when they went down to the ground? Because I know a lot of people were talking about if it did go to the ground, then it would be Charles' fight.
Right. Look at
people are there's jiu-jitsu is flashy, and then there's fucking hard jiu-jitsu, good positioning. Islam showed that there's elite levels of jiu-jitsu versus guys that are good at jiu-jitsu. And I mean, even a guy like I mean, Topuria is legit.
Yeah, I think he's the best. He's fighter
legit grappler.
He's the best fighter on the roster.
But what would y'all be saying if you would have got tapped out with that?
I mean, people go for legs. Who goes for legs? No one gets a leg lock these days. It's fucking leg locks are pointless. They don't work in MMA. People need to shut the people. When have you ever seen a leg lock?
BJP ain't got submitted with a leg lock.
No leg locks have worked in the last 10 years. like 5 years. Like, look at the last 5 years.
Because he's wearing wrestling shoes right now.
Leg locks are gone. You just expose your head too much. It's a leverage position. You get crushed. People know how to defend.
Unless you're like Toquinho or something.
But Toquinho is not even like, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's like.
Luke's not having it, Rampage.
No,
Luke's not having the leg
lock. Well, because
locks.
modern day jiu-jitsu is all leg lock based, but that shit don't work in MMA. And don't call yourself a fight. Like we're fighting this. No fighters.
I agree.
No fighters go for leg locks.
Wait, let's discuss that real quick. You're talking about grappling. You're talking about you don't like the fact that they've been calling grappling and jiu-jitsu lately fights.
Modern day grappling.
Yes.
It's all leg lock based, and it's all like guard pulling and fucking Gumby bullshit. And that shit don't work.
Rewind that for me,
That ain't no fight.
And
this is
Rampage,
this is what happens.
Yeah, Rampage.
This is what happens in a fight when you're on
grappling.
bottom.
And Luke.
Well, I agree with some of the stuff is obsolete, like a go-go plato. Why people, I don't even know why people trying to use that shit in jiu-jitsu and MMA.
What do you think, TJ?
On a go-go plata?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah, I'd agree. Some stuff is, obsolete in MMA.
I agree with Luke on the leg locks. You're going to get punched in the face very hard when you go for a leg lock. There are guys that are exceptions to it, but they're going to get punched. They're going to sacrifice themselves to try to get the win. 99% of the time, it does not work.
Okay, now break it down to me right now. What do we see, Charles? You talked about coming into like Ilya's danger zone, TJ.
Well, look, he grab a hold of him, cool. Right now, watch when he comes in. He's going to break off here. He's going to throw a jab and close the distance. Way too close.
He's just
like,
walking.
Look how close he is.
Yeah,
You're that much longer. Throw your kicks. Throw your jabs further away. Throw your crosses further away. Use your footwork and feints. He's going to come in hard. He's going to call with the right hand. Like you shouldn't be in that distance unless you're shooting a shot by setting your strikes up from further away.
He was coming in with his defense not tight either. It was kind of low. If you see it, he came in with his defense kind of low.
Yeah, the strategy of that fight just doesn't make any sense.
I saw Ian Machado Gary. Was he part of the corner? Was he part of the camp? I saw him in a few of the videos because he trains at a shoot the box in Brazil. Oh my God.
I mean, we see he's got power at 55s, man. He looks like a tank. I think he's the best fighter on the roster completely, but I would like him to fight a 55-pounder like Arman. Arman could never make 145s. Charles used to make 145s, right? Like, yes, he's big, but there's no way Arman would ever be able to make 145s. His body wouldn't let him do it. He's stronger. He's bigger. Let's see that test now.
How you think Arman would do against Topuria?
I think Arman's big and strong, dude. And he's gonna be a little bit smarter. He's a very intellectual person. He's really smart. He doesn't have to fight. He wants to fight. Like he's up there training with Sam Calavita right now. He's gonna have a gas tank. He's gonna be able to grab a hold of him, use wrestling a little bit different, use positioning different. He's a big, strong guy.
Which he said has taken his training and his cardio to a whole new level. He was in here with Cody doing recovery, and he was saying that the stuff he's been learning with Sam has been lights out different compared to what he used to do.
Oh, yeah.
He's also been doing jujitsu 2 or 3 times a week here with Bernardo, with the grappling team. He's been training with Yogi. I mean, this dude trains 2 or 3 times a day, every day. He's been out here for 4 months waiting for a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he just lives and breathes this.
Well, you know, I'm with Arman. If they fight each other, I'm with Arman on that. But Topuria, man, it's just going to be hard to bet against that guy.
Of course.
You know, based off his last 3 fights and what he's shown here, his wrestling and his grappling.
But Rampage, you've seen so many different generations of fighters. You've seen so many different champions. Is he that different compared to other things you've seen, or is it just his time?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen anybody boxing so neat and so crisp and so tight.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: he is a little bit smaller, and Arman is a bigger guy, and Arman's elite. So we'll get to see. I believe Topuria's wrestling is elite, but Arman's is elite, and he's bigger, and that could pose a problem. I mean, like Islam, elite and bigger. Like these guys are going to be in the grappling aspect of things. It's going to be dangerous for him. You know, and I'm curious to see how that reacts.
Do not go punch for him in the first 2 rounds.
I mean, you can't. Yeah. No,
Do not go punch for punch with him
And the reason why?
because he's crisp. He's amazing boxing.
Even
amazing.
if you are just as good, though, like Arman's a phenomenal striker and
Not
wrestler.
this good.
Not this good.
No, Arman doesn't
not
have
even-
boxing like
no,
this.
no. These are the best boxing I've seen ever, probably ever in the
Okay,
UFC.
so now for the people,
I don't
at
think
home
there's
who
anybody
don't-
better.
No.
Ever.
For the people at home who don't know this, I want to go one by one. What does that actually mean to you, though? Break that down. What makes his boxing so good?
He's balanced. He's powerful. He rotates. He's got the best boxing I've seen in the UFC ever.
TJ?
Power he punches because he's balanced. His weight's on his back foot. He's able to push off. He closes distance wonderfully. He's throwing 5 or 6 punch combos. He's staying tight. His hands are always up. His head's getting off the tracks.
His vision's clear.
Yeah, exactly. His vision's clear.
Sees it.
He's relaxed in there. That's where he wants to be.
Yeah, Luke, you talked about that right when I saw you Monday about the fight. You're like, look how relaxed he is in the pocket. We were talking about, people's attitudes and their like aura when they're in the cage. And Luke, you're always pretty good at knowing what people, you feel like you know everybody. So it's like, you're always pretty good at kind of calling those things out. Do we see this guy as one of the most confident fighters?
He knows where he's coming. He knew the moment he stepped forward, he knew he was going to throw this combo and he's going to land all 3 of those shots. Jab, hook, bang, bang, bang.
Do we also feel that he's coming into a division right now that's in a little bit of a disarray, so he's kind of going to be able to do what he wants for the next couple of years?
We need to see him fight Arman.
tough-
And then we'll decide after that.
And then decide after that. And then if he gets through Arman, which is going to be a tough battle, Islam needs to come back.
I hate to say this, but he's fighting Paddy Pimblet.
I-
No.
I-
No,
No,
you come
I
on.
hope not.
100%.
Patty is like,
Bro, I'd like to see Arman and Patty fight. That would be actually
That'd
interesting.
be a good fight.
Arman deserves the title first.
Army and Patty would be interesting because that's like, I think Arman could out grapple him.
Didn't
And I
DDP
think you
release
get,
it?
you get a striking
Yeah,
match.
DDP said that, but Arman is the number one contender in the lightweight division. He needs to fight for the title.
Yeah, but they just pretty much did a promo for
Yeah,
that
but
next
Dana
fight.
was pissed about that. He said,
Dana
he
was
said
mad.
that shouldn't have happened.
Dana was mad.
He was pissed
he didn't
about
like
it.
that?
Yeah,
Why
he-
wasn't Dana there?
He was there. He just already had went back to his room.
Oh, it did?
What?
He had said that in the post fight interview.
Well, he left after he put the belt on. He just bounced.
And right now, yeah, he just bounced. Right now they have Arman Tsarukyan is now 13th pound for pound in the top ranking. He moved up a position. Bilal's 12, Max Holloway's 11, Alex Pierre is 10, Tom Aspinall's 9, Jack Della Maddalena is 8, Ankalaev is 7th, Volkanovski is 6, Pantoja is 5, DDP is 4, Merab is 3, Islam is 2, Ilya is now 1. Ilya is now pound for pound the top ranked fighter in the
what?
UFC.
John Jones is not on there anymore.
No, he
He's
retired.
retired.
So when you
official.
retire, like you're not on there
Yeah,
anymore.
you're not active.
Does your contract still stay active though?
Yeah, if you
No
come
matter
back,
what?
if you come back to fight, your contract's active.
So it does. It's not like the NFL. It doesn't cancel your contract when you retire.
But you can
Wow.
stay with. But hold on. But for how long? It's like they got you for like
Ever.
2 years. What?
I think it's forever.
Well, how did Rashad come back? How did Rashad fight?
They let him out of his contract. Some guys they don't care. Like you're not pulling weight. Like all right, cool, go fight for BKFC or whatever it is, you know. But if your name pulls weight, like if John Jones ever comes back to compete in a martial art again, UFC.
Oh, that's crazy. But you guys wouldn't be excited to see Patty versus Tapuri?
No, I want to see Arman or Islam.
It has to be Arman. You can't give him Islam already.
No, give him Arman.
Yeah, you got to give him Arman because that's what needs to happen.
I bet the fans want to see that.
Fans want
Patty
to see
is-
that fight because it's a
Patty is
foolish,
ninth
it's a
ranked
foolish fighter.
Patty's a great fighter, but he's the 9th ranked fighter.
But I mean,
If he's
you
fighting
got all
Gaethje-
you got all the confidence in the world from beating Michael Chandler. I mean,
DDP just said he's fighting Gaethje. I hope that happens. That'd be a sick fight for him to tell you. Goes out there, beats Gaethje, then talking title fight. Yeah.
I mean, we heard Ilya talk about Arman and Patty after the fight,
What'd
and
he
he
say?
called them both out, and they were both sitting courtside right there at the cage.
What did he say? About
He
Arman?
basically said, like, I know there's 2 guys out there that think they should get this fight. Whoever wants it can come get it. Patty, Joe Rogan called in there. Then Patty goes straight over to Diego, and you see Diego sitting next to Arman. But, Dana didn't seem too happy, like what TJ said.
I'm gonna say this about Tapuri that a lot of people overlook him.
Overlooked Taporia?
I'm gonna tell you what
How?
I'm gonna tell you what the part about him that a lot of people are overlooking. His mentality.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
Man, I haven't seen many fighters like that. He's like how Muhammad Ali was calling out which rounds he's knocking people out in and stuff like that. The
He
guy,
threw a victory party the night before.
yeah,
Do you see that? He threw
Yeah.
a dinner victory party the night before his fight. That's crazy.
bro, he the new Neo. I'm telling you, he knows something that I wish that I would have been on. Man, he knows it.
He's the first 2-division champion that's undefeated ever in the UFC. There's never
Well, he
been
never
an
lost in the
undefeated.
UFC?
No, he's undefeated.
He's never lost ever.
He's never lost ever.
He never lost ever.
Ever.
who's this guy in the corner?
I don't know. His
Is he on like
family.
Manchester United or something?
Yeah, probably.
Probably his father-in-law.
Bro,
Sergio Ramos.
Bro,
Yeah.
this guy's connected.
He is Spain, dude. He's making the sport of MMA and UFC as an organization 10 times bigger than it could ever have imagined in Europe. He's literally turning it into F1 in Europe. All of Spain is behind MMA
Good.
right now. It's
It's
pretty
awesome.
insane. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's pretty insane what he's doing. And the fact that he's doing it in style, like he shows up in the suit, I got to hand it to him. Like he plays a good game. He walks in there like he already won. He feels like he already won. He looks like he already won. But like all of us can agree, I think he's going to have a hard time with Arman. I think Arman is a dog. And I think one thing everybody forgets, Arman doesn't need a fight. TJ said it a million times. I've said it a million times. The guy fights because he wants a belt. That's it. So like, I hate when he throws the rose in the middle of the cage. It's like,
why does
it's
he
like,
do that?
It's like another one, like the movie.
Are there something that he does?
Yeah,
It's
it's
kind
like-
of dope.
He got it.
I
Yeah, I love it.
I
But I
don't
hate
know.
it dude, because it's so good.
It's kind of different. That's cool.
It's like he got the
right.
kill. He's like the
You just hate it
Simmons.
because Arman's our boy.
I hate it because
Yeah.
Arman's our boy.
Yeah.
And also I hate it because like this fight should have been Arman. Let that fight get done and then I'll support who I want to
Yeah,
support.
I want Arman to win. I want Arman to beat him. I'm behind Arman. He's a great fighter, and then once you get to know him, you can't never like root against him. But I'm gonna say this: when Arman do get in the cage with him, I'm gonna be nervous as hell for Arman.
Yeah, of
that's all
course.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, we're all going to watch that fight. Hopefully we could go to it. Hopefully we get it soon. We do know that we have Khamzat Chimaev here for the next 6 weeks training for DDP at the Jaxxon Media House in Newport Beach. We're turning this city into the fight capital of the world. I do want to give a big thank you to Rampage and Luke and TJ for sticking by me through all the chaos and craziness and the 17 gyms we've tried to open this last 2 years, because it's really happening in real time. Our Behind the Brand show is now going to be capturing one of the greatest, title runs I think we'll see, which is, this kind of boogeyman of the UFC, Khamzat Chimaev, who's been out of the US for the last 2 years, problems getting in and out. Now he's finally here with a team, very polite. Today we did a little podcast with Twitch and Sheckler, and Khamzat was here, and everybody got to kind of interact. Arman and Khamzat are going to be training together, and Khamzat's wrestling and sparring partner, Bernardo, put together a program with Arman and Khamzat to run that out here. So they'll be using each other for that, and that's why we got them in the cage. So we have a good jiu-jitsu program right now. I think it's going to help us take it to the next level.
How you think he's going to do against DDP? You think
Khamzat Chimaev is going to run through him.
He'll run through him?
I mean, look at what Khamzat Chimaev did to Robert Whittaker. As a fan, not as a guy who knows anything about MMA, you think Robert Whittaker is better than DDP? You think he's more
Chimaev
skilled?
needs to get on that Sam Calavita cardio, because that's his only downfall, is getting tired. And
DDP
ain't going to get tired.
DDP beat Robert Whittaker, knocked him out.
But I understand that. But do we think, technically speaking, as a fighter, do we think DDP is better all around than Robert Whittaker?
Well, he knocked
He's a
him
better
out.
grappler, and he knocked him out.
I don't.
DDP is a better grappler than Robert Whittaker.
He's a better
and
fighter.
and he knocked him out.
I mean, the way he ran through Robert Whittaker, I just don't think that there's.
it's going to be a tough fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough fight.
I'm a fan
I
of
mean,
DDP, to be honest.
Here's the
He's
thing,
a champion. I'm a
DDP.
fan, but I just don't think that he would be able to answer.
Khamzat has better grappling.
You grappled with him.
I've grappled with both of them. All right.
Wait, when did you train with DDP?
DDP, I trained with him. He's obviously gotten a lot better, I'm sure. But I trained with GDP for probably a year or two. When I was out in Florida. I felt him. He's very tough.
Is he strong?
He's very tough, but he can go, and he's composed. Khamzat's got to be composed. You can't just if you go for the kill, and you don't get it, then you get a dump. You can't have those dumps in the world title fight.
He needs to work on top end red line stuff, because he goes for the kill, and you can only do that for so long. You have to train that section, right? So everyone's heart rate, right? You get into the red zone, you start producing lactic acid, you get tired. The only way to make that better is to be in that red zone for as long as possible and train to be there longer. Also get used to it mentally. If he can start training that, he should listen to Arman, because Arman's doing it with Sam Calavita now. It'd be awesome if we can get Chimaev up there as well too. He would have. I would put a lot more money on Chimaev if he trains the right way for his cardio. If he doesn't train his cardio the right way, I think it's gonna be hard for him to put DDP away, and DDP's gonna get him in the later rounds and gas him out. That's my prediction.
Do we think DDP has better grappling and wrestling than Khamzat Chimaev?
No. Not grappling?
Do we think
Chimaev is better wrestling?
Do we
better
think
grappling?
DDP has better striking than Khamzat Chimaev?
It's unorthodox, and it's volume.
It's effective.
So let's go one at a time. Luke, yes or no? Do you think DDP is better striker than Khamzat Chimaev?
It's awkward. Rhythms are different, and everyone's rhythm matches up different.
TJ?
Technically, maybe not. Technically, but the way that he fights, yes, because it's punches and bunches. He doesn't get tired. He keeps coming forward. He's got an awkward style to train for. I'd rather train for a guy that throws technique perfect. It's easier. I know you're throwing a jab, I'm going to slip it. Throwing a cross, I'm going to slip. I'm going to roll into your hooks. But he's throwing shit and running at you, and he doesn't get tired.
He outstruck
DDP
Sean Strickland, and Sean Strickland has been proven to be a fucking problem as a striker.
Oh, yeah.
He outstruck him.
And the pace of play that Strickland puts on people is just nonstop too. So
yeah, do you think Khamzat outstrikes Sean Strickland?
I think Khamzat outstrikes anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Are you saying it just because you boys with him now?
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
hey, Bear, wipe your lips a little bit.
Hey, who do you think's a better striker, Khamzat Chimaev or DDP?
I don't fucking know.
If you're in Khamzat Chimaev's camp,
Yep.
how are you going to train Khamzat Chimaev to beat DDP?
Cardio.
And
I'm going to make him a fitness freak, because he's good. He's strong. His grappling's better. He's got good technical striking. I just don't think he has the gas tank to, if he doesn't finish DDP, to win the fight.
And Luke, if you were in DDP's corner, how are you training him to beat Khamzat Chimaev?
Wrestle.
Really?
Make him tired.
Wrestle, defense, get up.
But with how good of wrestling Khamzat Chimaev is, you would want to go to the ground with Khamzat Chimaev?
No, defensive wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Defensive wrestling and getting up and just protecting yourself.
What's the
weathering the storm? Weathering the storm. Khamzat's going to put on a fucking storm. It's going to come. You know it's going to come. You got to just defend everything and be very technically sound.
What's the hardest aspect of training and fighting?
Cardio.
I know, but what martial art makes you the most tired?
Wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're DDP, wrestling because he's going to make him tired. You make him tired, his punches are going to be labored. His grappling is going to be slower. His reaction times are going to be slower. So yes, wrestle him to Luke's point to make him tired. Not to beat him at wrestling, but to make him tired.
You just brought up a good point. You said defensive wrestling. Obviously, like what he's saying to try to make him tired, what you're saying is to be able to have some sort of control. What do you do to get ready for a fight like this? Defensive wrestling, you bring in a bunch of sparring partners, you get drills, you go do jiu-jitsu. What do you do?
You do like a wall drills, Iron Man type drills. You get 3 of the best wrestlers you got, and you get on the wall, and they fucking try to take you down. 1 minute, like we would do like these drills where you get on the wall, and I'd have like DC Kane, fucking,
Well, that's a real lineup.
You have these like great wrestlers that are coming after you on the wall, and if you're going against a wrestler, so you have to they connect with you, and you go for a minute hard. You have to defend, minute out. Boom, next guy comes in. You're like on the wall. You're shaking him, and you try to get off, and then the next guy comes in, and you run that through. 6 times or so.
Before we go, at Santo Performance Studio, you're doing wall drills with Arman and Randy Brown, as well as Mighty Mouse and whatnot. We were all over here training. Is there a specific type of drill, though, that you would do? Like, we see guys bringing in like 4 or 5 different sparring partners. Do you think that it's overkill? Or like, is what Luke's saying, just keep your team, run through the drills, get crisp? Or is it something specific? Because it'd be interesting to kind of fill you out as like a coach.
I've done both of them. I've done it to where I've had a bunch of training partners, and I've done it to where I've had a specific they both work great. It's more about what you're going to do personally within those groups, and as long as you got a good push. You need guys that push him to the brink of breaking. Like, if Chimaev's going to win this fight, he's got to break in practice. So you got to bring in enough guys to break him, because he's gonna beat up his training partners. He's good.
Yeah, we see him here with 6 guys.
So you need more of them. Because if you're going to beat up those 6 guys, what are the next guys that are fresh that now can get beat up, or vice versa, beat you up? Like, you have to get beat up in your training camp to be your best. Like, if you're not getting beat up in training, you're not training at the right spot.
Is the iron going to sharpen iron, though? Khamzat and Arman, is that a good training matchup? Getting ready for Arman as well for Ilya?
Yeah.
I mean, iron sharpens iron world. You got to get around the toughest fucking guys you can and get beaten down. That's like, you get a little humility when you get into those rounds where it's like you're wrestling, you got 2 guys rotating on you or 3 guys like rotating on you. I know you're used to it,
That's how he blows his back out.
Yeah. Blow the back out.
Thanks, Luke.
That's how you get ready.
Luke, 2 hours too. You were infectious.
Championship rounds, baby.
Championship round. Before we go, first of all, this was an amazing recap. I want to say thank you to everybody for being on point, Rampage. That was like probably the best recap you've ever done. It was little to no of the bullying, and I think the audience will like this. Before we go, though, we saw you commentating Aiden Ross's fight in Miami. How was that fight?
Oh man, it was entertaining.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, you know what? It's a perfect name. Brand Risk. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, think about it. No. Its name of it is Brand Risk. And those guys that are fighting, they're like internet sensations and stuff like that, right?
It's risking their brand.
So it is Brand Risk. And so they have a brand. Like, these guys are making their money by like making content on the internet. And then they go out there and fight. And I watch them. Some of them actually train, and some of them don't, right? Some of them don't care. One guy went out there, got his ass kicked for like a round or so, and he quit. He said, I just came out here for the check.
Yeah, because it's not a brand risk unless you train.
Right.
Right.
But no,
I mean, if you don't train, it ain't a brand risk because make an excuse.
No, but he's still risking his brand because now a lot of people look at him like, oh, he didn't take it serious. And Adam's like, that guy never fight here again. So I was like, oh wow. So I'm looking at it. You guys know I like, I like entertaining people. I'm over streaming and stuff now. I like that type of world. I was like, man, this actually is pretty cool.
But you do realize that every UFC fight, you're risking your own brand.
You are risking your own. You are.
I mean, of course.
Listen, of course.
Yeah,
but these guys
they don't have fight brands.
Yeah, but they're not fighters though. A lot of them, they're not fighters.
They're just influencers.
Teacher's like, you do know we did this, all of us at the table.
Yeah,
excluding me.
Yeah, but the new age. But back in my day, before social media, like you lose a fight. It's like people talk shit about you on the internet, but it don't be directed to you. These guys, they go out there now when they stream. Have you guys ever did a live stream? People chatting to you instantly, and it can change your mood instantly if you let that shit. If you let that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Me and TJ live streamed from a pizza restaurant on Discord. in our Jaxxon podcast Discord.
Yeah.
And TJ was loving it. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
TJ's talking to people. I was eating so much pizza. I was having time in my life.
Now go out there and get your ass kicked right before that live stream.
Yeah.
And this is how these guys gonna do, right? And these guys, like, even me, I be sitting in my jacuzzi with chicks, right? And I'm telling them, like, and I'm planning on, sealing the deal after the jacuzzi, right? But no, you know how some girls overthink, right? These guys
you didn't
saying
close
like,
the deal?
fucked up shit live. They saying fucked up shit live, and the girls thinking like, oh damn. So it's like, it's crazy. Live stream is crazy. It's a whole different world.
What kind of deal were you closing here where you let the girl wear your belt and your MMA gloves?
Ain't no girl wore my belt.
Yeah. What's up with this?
No. Listen, they had to use the restroom, and so I let them
So
come
you
up in
went
my
with
room,
them?
and they wanted to see that they wanted to learn some stuff.
What you got above? What do you got? Like the
that a
galaxy above?
Yeah.
I told you guys, he had Stratos paint him naked on the.
I don't got that. I got the world. I got the moon, the stars, and the galaxy. You know why? Because when I smash a chick, she leave the room. It's like, damn, that dick was out of this world.
All right, with that being said, thank you guys are watching the UFC recap. Big fights coming up, big business. Everybody's killing it. One team, one dream. Leave a comment. Let us know who you guys want to see next. Do not forget to go check out the Behind the Brand show. I'm Bear Degidio. This is the team. We're out.